This video series is brought to you by FleetPride, the heavy-duty parts and service authority.
Does everybody know what time it is?
Uptime!
That's right. FleetPride is proud to present David the Truckman Sickles.
Hello, welcome to Fleet Uptime, an opportunity for us to talk about the best practices in technology, truck parts, and service to help you maximize equipment uptime and profitability. My name is David from Fleet Equipment, and today we're talking with a bona fide master of uptime. His name is Cory Anderson. He is the General Manager and Vice President of Service at FleetPride. Cory, it is great to have you on the show. Thanks a lot for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here, David.
Excellent, excellent. So let's get right into it here. So what are fleets asking for in regard to their aftermarket service availability and needs? I mean, what are suppliers and service providers doing to meet those kinds of needs?
That's a good question. I would tell you, one-stop shops is, as we continue to grow, is really the expectation of the fleets. They want uptime uptime for us is front and center. They want us to get the truck in and out. And we need to be able to not only repair their truck, but the expectation is that we can repair all of their fleet. So their trailer, their truck, their terminal tractor, their maintenance vehicles, and so on. So I'd say the two areas that we focus on, there's a bunch, but two areas specifically we focus on in reference to this question would be skilled technicians. So we think about our technicians, and so we invest a lot of time and money and energy into our technicians through advanced courses, which allows us to meet the needs of our fleet. And I would say the second thing that we invest in is technology, to make sure that we can hook up and diagnose quickly, efficiently, whatever their fleet is, whatever those expectations are. So I would say those are the things that we hear pretty regularly.
Excellent. And you mentioned technicians in there. What do you believe might be the biggest technician training issue today? There's all this new technology, there's new compact aftermarket systems, unusual situations. What are you putting in place to help solve these kinds of problems?
Man, I would tell you today's trucks are complex. They're tough. The technicians really need to be experts. There's a couple of things that jump out in my mind. Electronics and the emission systems are two areas of the truck that really jump out. They're complex and they're integral parts of today's vehicles. You think back, 10, 20 years ago, and the truck was completely mechanical. And so the approach and the way you repair a truck today versus the way you had to not that long ago is significantly different. So I'd say understanding electronics is key to a quality repair. Just think about the number of computers it takes to run a truck. There's CAN buses and ICUs all throughout this truck, and so being able to quickly hook up and diagnose, because as we stated before, we want to get them. Uptime is key here. We want to get them in and out, and so our FleetPride Tech University, which is our university we have for our technicians. For their on-site training as well as their online training, it really focuses on these complex systems to fix these trucks as quick as possible to get them back on the road.
Yeah, of course. And I know that one of the things that FleetPride service centers are known for is being able to service all makes and models. So, how do you approach equipping your technicians with the broad service knowledge necessary to be able to accomplish that?
Man, great question. I tell you, we invest a ton of time, energy, and money into training. We invest as well into tooling and software. Those are a couple of other areas that are real big, as well as at times we've got to purchase the latest OE software. And so you think about when we're doing advanced diagnostics, we've got any and all of the best tools possible. Having the right tools is part of the equation, but also the right skills, with those technicians. So making sure we train them makes all the difference in the world. OE level hands-on curriculum is really what we drive through FleetPride Tech University, and this provides the techs with the pertinent training that they need to repair today's engines. And then the other thing we do is you think about it, we've got over 600 technicians throughout the network. And so we regularly will leverage those technicians. You've got experts out there. And so if we've got a technician in one of our locations that's got a challenge, quickly they can reach out to one of their peers at one of our other locations to leverage that knowledge base that we've got. And throughout our entire network, we have a tremendous amount of factory certified technicians that are there to really support and help those technicians that need help, as well as to take care of those customers.
So obviously your technicians are working on a ton of different vehicles all the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a great preventative maintenance tip that you can share based on what your techs are seeing day in and day out?
Man, there's a lot of things that we could address from a preventative maintenance perspective. I would tell you, we see a lot of repairs around the emission system. So as I stated earlier, specifically the DPF filtration system. And so how in the world can you make this preventable? A lot of fleets are moving away from today, part of the current, or I'd say prior technology, was to bake those filters to try to burn off all the soot, and then use this technology that would blow with these specialized knives, so it would blow out that soot. But we're seeing more and more of the fleets move away from that type of a technology to just replacing with new. And the reason they're doing that is you can get up to 3x the life in a new versus having to get in there and clean it. So you think about the cost differential of every time that truck goes down, I got to open up the filtration system to get it out and clean it, versus being able to go 3x before I have to crack open that system, is one that I would say the fleets, if they're not looking at that, we're seeing more and more move that direction of a PM type strategy where you can go 250,000 miles before you've got to get back into that system. So I'd say that's one area in the preventive maintenance space that we're seeing really grow, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they, just keep getting more and more complex, I think that, that strategy just makes a lot of sense. So FleetPride is, expanding all the time. You have locations all across the nation. How do you determine a good candidate for an acquisition opportunity, and how does your strategy for growth, how does that affect the unique services that you're able to offer fleets?
It's great. We're fortunate here at FleetPride. We've expanded our service centers to over 75 locations. And you think about what does a good candidate look like? There's a lot of things that we could put into that bucket. You think about a market leader in the market that they're at. There's owners that are looking to ensure that their employees have growth opportunities. And so one of the things that makes us attractive is with the multi-locations that we have, it creates career opportunities for all of their employees. The employees, they're interested in, are we going to invest in the future of their technicians? And so having FleetPride Tech University and an educational program like that is a big deal to a lot of owners. And I would say, we see succession opportunities where there's not a true strong succession plan, or there's additional capital needed from an investment perspective. So you think of these businesses, in the service side, it's a capitally intensive business to keep up to date with the most recent tools and software and training for your technicians. And so we see those as some of the candidate attributes. Now, types of shops that we acquire, it's a little bit of everything. You think about it, we've got over 100 driveline centers now. A bunch of those are in our service centers as well as in our parts locations. So we've got driveline repair and rebuild capabilities at over 100 plus locations. Mobile service is another big one that's coming up a lot as of lately. We've got 130 trucks today, but I'd say this is probably our quickest and fastest expanding part of our business.
Wow.
On-site repair is something that more and more fleets are demanding. And so as we talk to candidates, there's candidates out there that have on-site repair taking care of these customers at their facilities. And like I said, service centers, we've got the 75 plus service centers to go on top of the 300 plus parts locations, and even wreckers. In the last couple of years, we've had acquisitions in the Northeast in Pennsylvania and New York, where 4 of those locations had wrecker business. And so we now have a fleet of over 60 wreckers. And so strategically, what do those types of shops look at? I would say it's a little bit of all that. We love the drive-in service business. Just if you look back in just the last 2 years, in 21 and 22 combined, year to date 2022, we've acquired 42 individual locations, or 42 total locations in that time period. So it's, I'd say acquisitions are something that is very interesting to us, that we expect to continue to grow as we continue to grow out our service and parts footprints.
Excellent. Well, Cory, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you being here. I learned a lot. I had a blast. Thanks a lot.
It's great to be here, David. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, you know what time it is.
This video was brought to you by FleetPride, the heavy-duty parts and service authority. Contact FleetPride at fleetpride.com to learn more.